Hey guys, good morning. I wanted to give you a little help on the proofs review. So the first thing we want to do is we want to look at our given statements and we want to mark all of that information on the diagram. So this says that segment BC is congruent to DC, so let's make our marks there. And AC is congruent to EC, so that's going to be AC and EC. All right, so now we're going to mark anything we can knowing the theorems. So the first thing that we need to look at is that there are a pair of vertical angles here, so we'll make those marks. All right, now that we've marked our diagram with everything that we can, we want to come back over to the statements and reasons chart. And all this is giving a step-by-step justification of why we can say that this statement is true. And that's just saying that triangle BCA is congruent to DCE. And remember, to show any triangles are congruent, we're going to use one of our 5 congruency theorems. And so let's see what we have here. So it looks like we have side, angle, side. And so let's just start filling out the chart. So these things are given, so we automatically just write those in first. Those are things that are told to us at the very beginning, and those are what we will always put in the first part of the chart. Okay, and this says that whatever the statement is, the reason is because of the vertical angles theorem. And so we marked these two angles by the vertical angles theorem. So we'll say that angle BCA is congruent to angle DCE by vertical angles. And then it says here that triangle BCA is congruent to DCE. And the reason we can say that is because of SAS. And we're done. So this one is similar. Let's do number 2. So JK is congruent to LK. That's these two. And JM is congruent to LM. Right, and then the other thing that I can mark here is remember that shared sides are congruent to each other. And so that's by the reflexive property. So KM for this triangle is congruent to KM, obviously, for this triangle. And so at this point, we have side, side, side. So that's what I'm trying to show. Now here, the statements, remember the given statements always come first, and those are these. So we're going to write those here. Is congruent to LK, and JM is congruent to LM. What did we mark with the reflexive property? Well, we said that KM is congruent to KM, and that gives us all we need. And so we can now say that triangle JMK is congruent to triangle LMK by SSS. Okay, I'll do one more for you. So if we look here, angle G is congruent to angle I, so we'll make those marks. It says that FH bisects the angle GFI, and so this is GFI. And if it bisects it, that means it cuts it into 2 congruent pieces. So these 2 angles will be the same. And then lastly, we can mark this reflexive property stating that FH for this triangle is congruent to FH for this triangle. So we'll go ahead and make that mark. So it looks like now we have angle, angle, side. And so let's start here. All right, we know that the first thing is always because of the givens. And then we have angle GFH is congruent to angle IFH, and that's because of the definition of bisect. Okay, and then we have, look, there's a reflexive property that we marked. And so we'll say that FH is congruent to FH. And then finally, we can state that our triangles are congruent. So we'll say GFH is congruent to triangle IFH. And we're done. I hope this helps. And if it doesn't, please let me know and we'll work through a few extras. Bye, guys.